think, 3 of the series of books, right? That's when they started making the movies, and there was a big fight because a lot of parents didn't want movies because the whole point of the books was to help children read. And if movies came out, so many people would decide that they're not going to read the books, they're instead just going to watch the movies. And guess what? That's what happened. I've met tons of people that are familiar with the movies, and when you ask them questions about the books, they don't know anything about the books. So that's a problem, because there's a heck of a lot of things in the movie that are totally wrong. If you don't believe me, read the books. You'll see. The same characters don't even do the same lines and so on. You know, Hermione is not the only smart one. You know, it's actually kind of intriguing. And I confess, I've been reading them in Russian, German, and French too. And what's weird is they don't even eat the same foods in the same, you know, in the different languages. The Russian students are all learning about different kinds of Russian foods. The French eat lots of food. Oh, by the way, the funniest thing, you know, there's a French character, Fleur Delacour, and she has trouble with English because she's French. So she speaks English with a French accent. Guess how they handle that in the French book? They have her speaking sloppy French, as if she can't quite speak French because she's French. That's just hilarious, actually. Well, you get the idea. Philosophy requires you to learn how to read. In fact, I think it's there's a minimum requirement, isn't there? Don't you have to read, pass a test or something in order to sign up? No requirements. But believe me, you should read, and the more you read, the better for you. It's like doing push-ups. Well, you might do 5 push-ups, and that might be enough. But if you're in basic training, you need to do at least 75. You've been in basic training. I don't know, basic training. Maybe you could do basic training online now. I don't know. Okay. So I will have books for you to read. They're all online, though. In fact, let me go to, where do I want to go? Content. And course content. And I should point out, I have this file here called Steps. I have so many different opportunities for you that some students have complained that it's confusing. So what I did was I put together this step-by-step approach to the course, so that if you would follow this, it would tell you exactly what thing to do in order for you to not be confused while you're taking the course. Does that make sense? So that's what this page is. Can you see that? That was too much. All right, I'll leave it at that. So, by the way, I haven't talked about it yet. What are the requirements? How many folks want an A for the course? Just the ones that like C.S. Lewis. Huh. No, everybody wants an A, right? And everyone can have an A. This isn't Princeton University, so it doesn't have a requirement of only 10 A's per class, 10% A's, or whatever. Everybody here can get an A. I've actually given almost all A's to lots of classes, and no one in the administration has complained. They have checked, and they said, oh, well, at least a couple people failed, so that's okay. It's their way of measuring that the course is a qualitative course. But the questions that I ask of you are all personal opinion questions, neither true nor false questions. And so my grading mechanism is volume. The most amazing educational experience I ever had was the 52 weeks that I spent in Monterey in the Defense Language Institute, where the Army had me learn Russian. Я еще говорю очень хорошо по-русски. So it worked. I got a 3.3 in my test afterwards, which was like, you had to have a 2.2, but I had a 3.2. So I did great. And went to Berlin for 3 years, then Fort Meade for 4.5 years, and they sent me to Fort Richardson, where it seemed to make sense, but I went to Fort Richardson for 4.5 years, bought the house, which was great, and then they sent us to Hawaii for 3 years. They thought, you know, well, you're frozen now, so we need to thaw you out. So they sent me to Hawaii, where they put me in an air-conditioned building under the pineapple field. Not my fault. That's where they saw it. I signed up for it, actually. My kids hated it. It was a good experience for about 2 weeks, but 3 years turns out to be kind of rough. I have an updated list of philosophers for you. Besides, if you click on that list, well, let's not do that. If you click on that list, it will take you to a list of philosophers on my website. I cannot update the website anymore because of software support no longer exists for that. So if you see things on the website, you can find it interesting, but the syllabus is on Blackboard and the updated things are on Blackboard. Don't go to my syllabus and things on my website and expect this contemporary point of view, because I can't update it anymore. That's this one here. That's my website. That is me. It's a picture that my friend Rembrandt, you've heard of him, painted of me when I was much older than I am now. Actually, that's one of those ancient, one of my students made that for an art class. Took my picture and merged it with a picture of Rembrandt's called The Philosopher. And there I am. But so if you go to philosophy here, notice that the last update I could make on the website was in 2020. So those are no longer any. If you want dates, the things I'm basically still teaching arranged themselves the same way. But, okay. So there's an updated list for the term paper. Let me explain that. So there's 3 exams in the class. They're all on this website. So if you click on exams, notice that they are here, test 1. And look how it's what it asks. I give you 6 questions. You get to pick 3 of those questions and answer each of the questions you pick in 300 words or more. And if you send it to me and I open it with my Microsoft Word and I check the word count and it says 300 words, you get an A for that. So I go by volume, because what I learned at Monterey is that immersion in a language is the way you learn it. And what we're actually doing in this class and on the reading assignments and on your writing assignments is we're doing as much immersion as I can figure out how to do without getting you mad at it. Because the more you immerse yourself in philosophical language, the more fluent a speaker you will be of philosophical language, which is the goal, according to that paragraph, of this course. So I think of learning as primarily language learning. And the best way to learn a language is emerging. The, see, we. Hi. Anybody speak Japanese? Smidgen. Okay. My daughter speaks Japanese and German. Which is cool. Okay. So there's three questions you get to pick and send them to me. In easiest way is to send it all in one email. You can just send it in your email. You don't even have to do it as like a Word doc or anything. People send it all sorts of ways. Just don't send it on Pages, because my machine is Microsoft and doesn't open Pages. That's an Apple thing, right? Okay, so and these, they're all opinion questions. You know, how did Socrates corrupt? Sorry, sometimes it takes me, I have trouble. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable sometimes. But so, how did he corrupt the youth of Athens? Would that be considered corrupting youth today? That's an opinion question. So, you can't be wrong. And by the way, if you send me 200 words and I need 300, I'll email you back and say, there's only 200 words. Give me another 100. Because I want you to get an A too. Because then you like the course, and you talk to your friends who haven't had the course yet, and you tell them to have the course. And as a result, it seems like I end up with full courses, which means I get hired, which is cool. Because I like getting hired because I like doing this. I'm having fun, you know. I'm just looking at you because you're closest, right? You know, and my wife gets the money. So you see, it works out really well for all of our interested parties. By the way, if I have hair all over, it's not just my beard. I have a Saint Bernard. And if I have slobber marks, that's because also the Saint Bernard. All right, so notice there's 3 tests. There are due dates, and the due date is always the Saturday night of the week that they're due. It's easy. And there goes a squirrel. Squirrel. Really wants a squirrel. Okay. So test 1, test 2, test 3, they're all there. So you can already start playing with them. If you do go and answer those questions, you might want to update them by the time we're done, just for your own interest. And why? Oh, it won't go back? No, it won't go back. So let's just do the other page. I'll get back to this, and to this. And the term project. So, 50% of the course grade is for the exams, all of which you could easily get an A, you just have to write. I have met some students that, I still got to 1245, right? So, we're good. If you get bored, by the way, you can leave if you like. You're not tied to the seat or anything. And I do get distracted by squirrels. So that's all right. So 50% of the grade is for exams, and the term project is 3,000 words. Notice that's the main ingredient. I'm convinced, and it really works. I've been doing this now for years, and students really end up putting their heart into these papers, and they say what they think, which is excellent, and they stick to philosophical topics, which is exactly what I'm hoping all of this will do for you, right? I am concerned about plagiarism, but if you click on this link and go to my little explanation of what plagiarism is, okay, everybody knows it's passing off somebody else's work as your own. That's kind of dumb, right? But notice if you're using ChatGPT, I don't know. I don't know what the heck to think about that. I know a lot of my colleagues were against Wikipedia when it first started. I was thinking like, this is democracy in practice. And I like democracy. You know, I'm like, yay, let's go that way. Nazapad. Sorry, that's Russian for west, go west. That's why the Z on the vehicles, right? Sorry about that. I'm not pro-Russian in the, no.